As adults, we hit skip, we turn out, we pick up our phones when we see a commercial on TV. So why, as marketers, as business owners, do we think that the best thing for us to put on social media is an advertisement? Buy my stuff. No. Tell me a story. Why should I? Why should I pick you, Cali Barbecue, over all the other barbecue restaurants in San Diego? What makes you different? What makes you unique? Show me, don't tell me. And that's the beautiful thing about video. Is video, you can actually show off. You don't need to take, I'm not going to tell you it's the best barbecue. I will never say it's the best barbecue. I'm just going to show you the work that my pit masters are doing to prepare the barbecue. And you can decide for yourself.
Here we are behind the review, and we have Shawn Walchef with us today. Shawn has been on the show many times, and actually I think you were one of our first 5 episodes when we launched Behind the Review. You have done so many things since then, but for people who haven't met you on our show before, why don't you start by introducing yourself, tell us a little bit about your business, and then we'll dive into today's conversation.
Sure. My name's Shawn Walchef. I am a father. I am a husband. I own 3 restaurants in San Diego called Cali BBQ. We are going to be celebrating 17 years in business. I'm aging myself. It was a crazy idea opening in 2008. Tough location. We opened up a business, turned it into a barbecue business, and now we built a media business on top of that. So I talk a lot about storytelling, talk a lot about social media, talk a lot about letting people know that no one's coming. I believe as a restaurant owner, business owner, that if you build it, they will come. This is a big lie that once I realized that no one was coming, and I realized that I had the internet at my fingertips and I could use Facebook and Yelp and Google and all of these incredible tools, YouTube, to get our story out there, we started to connect not only locally with people here in San Diego, but people that run businesses, that own technology companies all over the globe. And now I'm fortunate to travel a lot. So I'm going to New York City, going to speak at a Google event. I'm going to be going to National Restaurant Show. We go every year. I speak there. We record content with partners like Toast, partners like Yelp, so many incredible people that have great technology. We believe that every business needs to be digital first, especially restaurant businesses, especially brick and mortar businesses. And we also believe everyone's in the hospitality business, whether they know it or not, which is why, kind of our deep thesis is digital hospitality. It's how do we connect to other humans? Whoever's listening to this podcast, whoever's watching this video, we care about you. You have a voice, you're building something. My grandfather, he taught me early on. He was an immigrant from Bulgaria. He was a farm boy, but he taught me my whole life. He raised me. I never met my father. He said, stay curious, get involved, ask for help. Curious people come to a podcast. Curious people want to get better. They read books, but then you actually have to do something with it. You got to take that scary step and make that selfie video or post that LinkedIn post, and then ask for help. There's so many cool people out there. They're only a DM away where you can say, I really like what that business is doing. How did you do it? And surprisingly enough, we think that people don't care, but business owners, we don't want other people to fail. Right? I've already been there. I've made so many mistakes. We've closed restaurants. We closed ghost kitchens. I've started podcasts that didn't make any money, that no one listened to. I made bad videos. I had bad news appearances. So any way that we can share that kind of content, that's what we're here to do.
And what I love is you've been good about the raw, behind the scenes, human side of showing up online. And for many business owners, I think that's the hardest part, right? They kind of think of their brand and how they post on social as needing to be polished and highly edited. And a lot of the success that you saw, especially early on, was just taking your phone out of your pocket and recording what's going on in your business. Talk to us a little bit about some of those storytelling tips that you have and ways that you advise business owners to get outside of their comfort zone and share their story online.
Sure. So I'll start with a little story about our restaurant. And we failed significantly. 2008, 2009, it was really hard for us to build sales. It was hard for us to pay payroll. It was hard for us to build a profitable restaurant. And then we we found our way. We slowly found our way. We struggled, but we were persistent. And, around year 3, year 4, we finally started making money. And year 5, I thought, oh my gosh, this is our 5-year anniversary. This is such a cool thing, not only for us, but for our community. So maybe local media, the local TV station, the local radio station, the newspaper, maybe they're going to care about our story. So I started researching about how to write a press release, how to engage with local media to get them to tell a story. So if these people came, maybe we would have a busier restaurant and we could open up more restaurants. Well, I sent out a press release, multiple press releases to TV stations, news stations, writers in town. And do you know what happened?
No one responded.
Crickets. No one cares. Like, no one cared. Maybe it was a bad press release. Maybe it was a bad hook. Maybe it was a bad story. But I thought we were making great barbecue. We were providing hospitality in a part of San Diego that, people often overlooked. We were giving back to the community. But to the point is, like, no one cared. And it was at that time where I realized I have everything I need. I don't need to build the internet. The internet's at my fingertips. So what we started doing was using our smartphone. So I don't care if you're Android, I don't care if you're iPhone. Like, you have everything that you need at your fingertips. You don't need to create Facebook. You don't need to make Instagram. You don't need to make YouTube. You need to claim your account. You need to claim your voice, claim your story, and start sharing your story. And it was really hard. One of the things when I go and I speak to business owners and restaurant owners and they ask me about social media, like I'm shy or I don't want to make a selfie video and post it on LinkedIn or, God forbid, Facebook, where my friends or my family are going to see me. The number one human fear is speaking in public. And I understand that. Like, I have deep empathy that people would rather be dead in the casket than give a eulogy at a funeral. Like, that's crazy, but that's the truth. And I believe that the number 2 human fear is that humans don't want to give public speaking online. Like, the fear of speaking online, the fear of how do I look? How do I sound? And as a podcaster, when you first started podcasting, you were worried about what is it going to look like on video? Is my lighting right? Am I going to sound stupid? Am I going to look stupid? Am I going to stumble over my words? Well, I'm here to tell you, I did all of that. I continue to do this to this day. I just recently interviewed Shaquille O'Neal on our Restaurant Influencers show, and I was so nervous to have him on, to know what questions am I going to ask him about his Big Chicken brand? Am I going to make sure that I can build a connection, I can build a rapport with him? Because this is in person at his Big Chicken conference. Yet I had done all the reps. People ask me all the time, like, well, I see the videos that I want. I see the, posts on Instagram that I want to be like. The problem is you have to go back to how did they start? We see the finished product. We don't see the years and the posts that happened before that. I have a small, modest following on Instagram, 23,000 followers, something like that. I've posted over 5,000 times. Like, what's the return on investment? Well, the return on investment is I'm on a show like this for Yelp, which is amazing. I'm going to New York with Google. I have a partnership with Toast. They sponsor multiple shows. I'm on their customer advisory board. I was invited to their IPO. Like, when people ask what's the return on investment, that's the return on investment. These companies wouldn't be working with me if I wasn't willing to share my story and if I didn't get better. Part of the thing about storytelling is understanding that you have to be repetitive and you have to get better. I think of comedians, comedians in cars, Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, all the greatest comedians. They will tell you that by the time they get on their Netflix special, by the time they're in the stadium, they've told that joke thousands, tens of thousands of times. Yet business owners, we think that, hey, I've already told why did I open up this business? So I told that story once. I don't want to make my family go get tired of the story. I don't want to make my friends. I don't want to make my investors. I don't want to make my community, oh, they've heard the story. I assume every time that I go on the local news, every time I'm on a podcast, that this is a new audience. If we do our job properly, I have to reintroduce the fact that we are a barbecue restaurant in San Diego. We have 3 locations. We have a stadium location. We have a Navy-based location. We have a master smokehouse. We've been trying to build the Amazon of barbecue, leveraging technology to get more barbecue to more people. And we built a media company on top of our restaurant. I have to assume that whoever is listening to this, this is the first time that we can possibly be friends.
Absolutely. And, I think the other really important thing about being repetitive with your message is reminding the business that when you're repetitive, you're able to touch the consumer with that message at the ideal time for them. So maybe the first time I heard you talking about it, I'm not in a place where I'm going to hire your company or spend money with your business. But if I hear it another time, that might be the perfect time. And so the more that you can repeat your story, you get better at telling it. You see what resonates with people, but it needs to be continuous because the opportunity to connect with a customer is continuous as well, right? There's always new people to get in front of.
And I think one of the biggest things that I hope anybody that's listening that you take away is that you are a business owner. So when we think of like the creator economy, we think of people like Mr. Beast that have hundreds of millions of followers on YouTube, the big TikTokers, the big podcasters like Joe Rogan, like that is the creator economy, and a very 0.0001% of creators that are making money that are building audience. The original creators are business owners, entrepreneurs. You created a business in real life. Like you had to convince your significant other, you had to convince your family, you had to convince your friends, you had to convince investors, you had to find a landlord, you had to find a space for your business, you had to get vendors, you had to do all of these things, which you did in real life. And what the internet wants is to show me the process, show me the work. My media mentor, David Meltzer, who I meet with and I publish my coaching calls live on our digital hospitality feed, one of the things that he talks about is content creator is a bad statement. Like, what is content? Well, content's a story. A creator makes people think like, oh, this is extra work. You mean, Shawn, I have to do extra work to do videos? No, you're a story capturer. You're already doing the things that people want to know about, bringing people behind the scenes and showing them this is what it's like to run a barbecue business in San Diego. Some of my most popular content is when I'm not my media team, because we have a media team, a full production team. We've got, multiple video cameras. Aaron and his team, like they come out with me to Chicago and we do obviously work for companies like Toast. But some of our best performing content is literally when I'm just live streaming at my restaurant. So at our Cali Barbecue Media, YouTube channel, you can just go and watch me live stream and talk to the audience about a topic where Bernice, our pit master, she's preparing ribs on the smoker. I'm talking about the process, why we're doing the things that we're doing, but it's a chance for us to build connection. And, to your point, well, a lot of restaurant owners or business owners are going to go, well, what do I care if somebody in Texas is watching the live stream? And I will tell you a personal story of I was on TikTok live during the pandemic, during Father's Day, for 4 hours, literally 4 hours straight. I was live streaming. I said, I'm going to live stream either until my phone dies or until my arm falls off. And my phone died. My arm didn't fall off. But I was live streaming and I had all these people that I was asking, where are you watching from? Let me know in the comments. This is what we're doing. I had a family from North Carolina who watched our live stream in North Carolina. They ended up watching that live stream, commenting, hey, I'm going to visit my daughter in San Diego. They came onto our patio the next day. It was insane, but that's the world that we live in. If you have the courage to look stupid, sound stupid, and I say that there was 100,000 followers, which was a lot because TikTok was pushing live at that time. Most of the time when I go live, especially on a platform like Instagram, there's 3 people, 4 people, 5 people. And that makes, my ego, like I get hurt, like, oh, I thought I was more popular. I thought I had more people. People don't care. But the people that do tune in, they're the ones that matter because they're the ones that are going to recommend you when they think about storytelling, when they think about business, when they think about podcasts, when they think about barbecue, when they think about catering. I'm going to be top of mind because it's like, I just saw Shawn on Facebook. I saw him again on YouTube. And then I saw him he popped up in my inbox. Like all of those things keep you top of mind and give you opportunities that most business owners just don't capitalize on.
Absolutely. And I really like this idea of not thinking of the content creation as like its own thing, but trying to capture what you're already doing. And I was listening to Gary Vee's new book, and he talks about how everyone loves the new, like, get ready with me videos, or the videos where someone is doing something while they're talking to you about a topic. So maybe you're doing a task for your business and you just have your phone plopped up and you're talking to your base then. And I wasn't planning on doing this during this episode, but it made me think, like, we should show some of the little and cheap things that help you be a better capturer. And I just happen to have this on my desk right here, which is one of those silicone things that you stick to your phone. These are great. I think this was like $4. I also have one of these guys, which has those like bendable arms so that I can attach it to something random if I need. What are some of your favorite little things that business owners can have to just make this stuff easier, or make them maybe feel a little more professional?
So the number one thing I want anyone that's watching this is that you have everything you need. So Arthur Ashe, one of my favorite quotes, not just from Arthur Ashe, but just for business and for storytelling, is do what you can with what you have where you are. Start where you are, do what you can with what you have. And if you're listening to this, you have the internet. Chances are you have a smartphone. You don't need the latest iPhone. You don't need the best Android. The camera that you have is the greatest app available because it allows you to capture the content. You can download YouTube. You can download TikTok, at least for now. You can download Facebook. You can download Instagram. All these platforms allow you to live stream from it. The reason why I love live streaming is that it removes the fear. It's like jumping off the cliff. Because if you record the video, now you have a chance that you don't actually publish it. So many people have content in the clouds and they don't publish it. They go, oh, I was at the event and I captured something really cool, but I'm going to go home and I'm going to edit it. And then you go back home and then you unpack and then you realize I'm not editing it now. And then the next day comes and you go to your inbox and then all of a sudden you're 5 days removed from the event. And you're like, okay, well, now I've got another podcast I have to record, or I've got to do inventory, I've got to do payroll, I've got to do all of the things. And then you're 3 months away and you're like, well, because now it's on to the next thing. So I'm a huge believer in the speed. Speed is one of the most important things for me. People ask, how do you make a quality video? And I think quality is BS, to be honest with you, because quality is subjective and you'll never make the perfect video. What I tell people, the formula is quantity plus speed plus consistency will eventually equal quality. And the problem is we want quality first. Quality never comes first. Quantity. It's not about making one video. It's like, how do I make 1,000? If you get your mind into a place where I need to do 1,000 videos, one video a day for 1,000 days, you will be shocked at how much better you'll get, how much less judgmental you'll be of your brand standards, of your personal brand standards, of what do I'm going to look like. Quantity, then speed. How quickly can you do it? Because I consider myself Wyatt Earp. And for those that don't know who Wyatt Earp is, Tombstone's one of my favorite movies. But Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday. Doc Holliday was the fastest draw with his gun. So Doc Holliday, I consider myself the Doc Holliday of smartphone storytelling because I'm really, really good at not caring how stupid I look. I am really good at capturing a photo, capturing a video, posting it to Instagram stories, posting it to YouTube, posting it to Facebook. Why? Because if I don't do it, I'll forget and something else will come up. So it's my own to-do checklist of like, okay, I did it. I was there. Now I'm sharing the story. And then all of a sudden, I have all of these friends, all of these business owners, all of these customers, all of these partners who are like, hey, Shawn, I saw you doing the thing. Hey, Shawn, I saw that you were in Bulgaria and you bought a Weber grill all the way from San Diego and you documented like, am I able to get this 70-pound Weber grill onto the airline? And I literally documented the whole process, telling the story of like, I hope so because my wife, I'm going to bring this to my father-in-law in the village and we're going to use it, in his garden and hopefully it works and hopefully we can get it built and hopefully they don't confiscate it. But I told that whole story. So many people have talked to me about, oh, I remember when you brought the Weber grill to Bulgaria. And when I go back to Bulgaria in the village and I share Instagram stories of us cooking on it, people know about the grill only because I was willing to share the story.
Absolutely. And I think you can get over the fear really easily if you are doing that speed and quantity, because you're going to get the positive feedback from putting stuff up, or you're just not going to get the negative feedback that is in your own head, and that allows you to then feel more comfortable posting. So that's great advice. Like, get going, don't worry about the quality. I always say, like, you can also remove it after. I mean, sure, some people have already seen it or whatever, but let's say you change the way you feel about something that you covered in a video, or you change a vendor that you have. It's not like you can't go update that stuff. And so don't feel like everything needs to be, reviewed 100 times before it's published.
The biggest competitive advantage that a small business owner has is that we don't have the infrastructure for legal, for comms, for marketing people, sales professionals, board of directors. Like big companies, like they struggle with social because everyone, like, who's the chief information officer? Well, it should be the person that's posting on social because you're speaking on behalf of the brand. But the more people that are involved in the process, the harder it is to get to speed, the harder it is to get to quantity, the harder it is to get to consistency, because everyone wants to vote on what does it look like, how does it look like, and then guess what? Nothing gets published.
Absolutely. And, you can only find out what an audience thinks of something by putting it out there, right? Because we have a lot of our own misconceptions or thoughts that are made on sometimes information that has basis and sometimes not. So throw it out there, see what people react to. I want to talk a little bit about what I think is like the big missed opportunity that a lot of business owners have with showing up online. And that's being responsive and engaging once you do post. So let's talk about engaging like on your own content. And then I want to talk a little bit about just going and engaging in the world to get in front of your audience where maybe they're paying attention to something else.
So number one, don't post and ghost. If you post and you ghost people, you're not building community. The whole idea about social, our tagline for Cali BBQ Media, the work that we do for our clients, is be the show, not the commercial. Nobody wants to watch a commercial. Nobody wants to be advertised to. And do you know how I know that? I have small children. I have a 7-year-old boy. His name is Colleen. I have a 5-year-old daughter. Her name is Mila. And when they were small, I'm talking like 2 years old, 3 years old, right when we first started letting them watch YouTube Kids, they instinctively knew the first button that they knew how to hit was skip. They were watching a cartoon and then an advertisement, another cartoon came in, but they didn't want to watch the second cartoon. They wanted to continue watching the first story that they were watching. So they hit skip. And as adults, we hit skip. We turn out, we pick up our phones when we see a commercial on TV. So why, as marketers, as business owners, do we think that the best thing for us to put on social media is an advertisement? Buy my stuff. No. Tell me a story. Why should I? Why should I pick you, Cali BBQ, over all the other barbecue restaurants in San Diego? What makes you different? What makes you unique? Show me, don't tell me. And that's the beautiful thing about video. Is video, you can actually show off. You don't need to I'm not going to tell you it's the best barbecue. I will never say it's the best barbecue. I'm just going to show you the work that my pit masters are doing to prepare the barbecue. And you can decide for yourself.
That's so spot on. And there's also this element of taking your customer's experience and amplifying that, because that's an extension of how you talk about your brand and how you guys try to encourage your customer base to share their experience and show their experience as well.
So, it goes back to my grandfather, like asking for help. You cannot assume that anyone knows what to do. Just because they saw your Instagram post or your Facebook post or your email, like, what is your call to action? And back to the call to action, it doesn't mean buy it. Like, yes, Gary V, jab, jab, right hook, like give value, give value, give value, ask for the sale. It doesn't mean that you can't ask for the sale, but also how do you ask them to do something? Please share this. Please do the things that are going to help our business. Why? Because we care about feedback. The only way that we get better as a business is for someone to say, hey, Shawn, guess what? Our last order that we got, it wasn't up to the standards that we usually get. That's valuable information to me because that allows me to go back to my management team to find out where did we not follow our standard operating procedures? Where did we go wrong? asking your community. And back to your engagement point, if somebody writes a review, if somebody engages on a post, that's a human. We live in a world where everyone thinks AI and everyone thinks bots, but like I make the assumption, and it might be incorrect, in 5 years from now, but right now, somebody that's taking the time to write something on Facebook, to write something on Yelp, they are a human being. And they have come and spent money at your business. And if they have spent money at your business and they have taken the time to give you any stars, 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever they decided to give you, read what they talk about, listen to what they're saying, and respond personally to that. Let them know you are a human. Emily came to our business. Emily, thank you for visiting our business. We know that there's a lot of choices out there. We appreciate you deciding to cater your wedding with Cali BBQ. We are so happy that you enjoyed the wedding beans. We're so happy that it put a smile on your, mother-in-law's face because she loves our wedding beans and you ordered our wedding beans. But personalize it. Why? Because it's not only the interaction with Emily, it's the interaction with who else is going to see that on the internet. This is a public space. So because of this public space, people are going to see, wow, this business owner has a catering manager or he himself are taking the time to respond to the review. Imagine what they're going to do in real life.
Absolutely. And I think showing up, it's about knowing what you want to say. Like, I think when we talk about when something critical is said about our business online and how we show up, then it's a lot easier if we have a jumping off point, right? If we have a little template to kind of get us going. But you pointed out with the positive, and a lot of people overlook that, they're not responding to the positive review, or on social, they're not responding to those positive call outs because it's a good thing. And they think of responding or engaging as control, like when you have to do damage control, right? Or problem management. Do you have any advice for kind of how you keep track of what's being said about you online, maybe beyond review sites, or how you just look across social platforms to engage with potential customers of yours?
Sure. I mean, we obviously are active on social. We monitor not just my own personal socials, but my brand pages, Cali BBQ Media. We also leverage technology. So we have great partners. We have a partner, Marquee, Marqii, and they help us with sentiment. So they help us with listings. They help us with listings across Google, across Facebook, with Yelp, helping us to improve, making sure that we don't miss that review. Finding a place where we actually know that like all of these different places are going to show up in my inbox, in my manager's inbox, in my catering manager's inbox. So even if we're not on the platform, we get that. We use a company called Ovation. Ovation is awesome at helping us with 2 questions. It's crazy to think that we live in a world where if you go to a CVS pharmacy or a Vons, like they'll give you this receipt and it's literally like 10 feet long. And at the bottom of the receipt, it will have like a big legal paragraph, like if you want to write us a review, text, a 25-digit number, and then we'll give you $5 off, your pharmacy visit. And you're like, no, I'm not doing that. But people do want to give feedback. And not only do they want to give feedback, they also want to know that the owner cares. I want to know that the places that I go, I go to a restaurant in Big Bear. So I just took my family on a ski vacation to Big Bear. I grew up, my grandfather would take me up to Big Bear. It was a breakfast restaurant that's been in business, literally I think they've been in business for 70 years. So multiple generations of family. We love this place. Now I'm getting my kids to love this place. But if I go there and I get a bad experience, which I haven't had, I want to know that I didn't see the owner at the restaurant. But if I go onto their Yelp page and I write a review, I want to know that they get that review, that somebody cares. Because if they care, I care about their business. I have no equity in this teddy bear restaurant. I love the restaurant. I just want them to be there when my son is 10, when my son's 15. I want them to be there for future generations. And you have to think that the customers that love your business, they're just looking for the easiest way to give you some feedback to say, hey, we want to support your business, but maybe this time you didn't hit the mark, or maybe you did hit the mark. Maybe someone went out of their way. You had a new hire and she was absolutely amazing and she's done such a good job. We just want to give you feedback that maybe she has an opportunity to move up. That's what digital hospitality is. The essence, the thesis of the work that we do is like hospitality happens in real life, but our hospitality also happens online. And it happens when you listen and when you respond with empathy, with caring, understanding that this is a connection that you can make, that somebody could be supporting your business for generations to come.
Absolutely. Okay, well, you shared so much great information. I know people are going to want to keep in touch and follow you, and you actually have a lot of ongoing programming that people can tune into. So give us all the goods. What shows can they check you out at? Where can they find you?
So I'm weirdly available. I do this stuff all the time, but people are always like, how are you so available? And I believe in human connection. So as much as I love the internet and as much as I love social media, I know that if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, like you have a business and chances are you have questions. We've made a lot of mistakes, and all I care about is like, if I can help another business owner save money or save time, like that's why we build in public. Like I have nothing to sell. All the content that we do is free. You can go to Cali BBQ Media, our YouTube channel, where we do all kinds of free stuff. But you can reach out to me at Shawn P. Walchef on Instagram's usually the quickest, but I'm very active on LinkedIn. I have a show called Restaurant Influencers, which is on entrepreneur.com. That's where you could find the Shaquille O'Neal interview. I interviewed people like Rob Deerdeck, Emeril Lagasse, John Taffer from Bar Rescue, a lot of incredible storytellers. So we also have, very popular food creators that are great on YouTube, or maybe they're great on Instagram. We care a lot about storytelling. And then finally, if you want to be on a podcast, you can join our community. We have a Rising Tides live show. So you can go to betheshow.media/Rising Tides. And every Wednesday, every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time, we have restaurant owners, hospitality professionals, sales professionals, marketing professionals, and tech professionals that join us from all over the globe. We've been doing this show now for 4 years. It started on Clubhouse, but now it's live streaming. So you, the listener, can come on stage, tell us about your business, tell us about whatever you're building, and then we have a topic of the day. So, we'll talk about digital marketing, or yesterday we talked about automated email campaigns and like how to improve your email campaigns. We talked about websites. We talk about all the things that will help you as a business owner with storytelling, with technology, and more importantly, with improving your hospitality.